Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday here at Home with APS. I'm Ms. Jacobson again, and I'm so glad to have you all with us today. We have a really full schedule today for you, and I hope that you stay with us for the entire time and enjoy it and do the work. Some of you have been starting to share your pictures with us of your projects on our Twitter feed at Home with APS. We are also starting a Facebook page, which we will give you some information about on Monday, and then you can have your parents or the grown-ups in your house upload pictures and samples of your work, and we will give you a shout out on the air starting next week. So get those to us and send them to us. Today we have a really special guest from Zone 3. This is Ms. Yvonne Garcia. She is the Associate Superintendent for Learning Zone 3 here in the Albuquerque Public Schools. And if you're not from Albuquerque, Learning Zone 3 is the area along our West Mesa on the northwest corner of Albuquerque. So if you look on an Albuquerque map and you're looking out toward Petroglyph National Monument, that is the area where Ms. Garcia's schools are all located. Welcome, and glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you. And our schools are also in the North Valley.
And in the North Valley.
Yeah, so we have a variety of schools.
You really do. How many students do you have in your zone, do you think?
We have about 22,000 in our zone.
And what high schools are related to your zone?
Our high schools are Valley High School, Cibola High School, and Volcano Vista High School. And also E-Academy, CEC. E-Academy also has Blend Ed with some computer and other kinds of interactions, Coyote Willow, and some of the alternative programs like the Juvenile Detention System, the and Continuation School, those kinds of things.
That's great. In fact, we did a shout out to Megan Miller, the principal at Continuation JDC and Vision Quest.
Yay.
She was one of our first shout outs reading to her dog.
Oh.
And so we've given a shout out to the students that are out there listening. And we know that there may be some K through 5th graders whose older siblings are in some of those schools that you just mentioned.
Perfect.
So what's the book that you're going to read for us today?
Today I'm going to read Last Stop on Market Street.
And this book is one of our culturally relevant library books. We've talked about that with you guys before. So this one looks like it's got some awards on it. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
There's the Caldecott Honor Book, as well as the John Newbery Medal. So lots of folks like this book.
They really do. Well, you're going to read that for us. I'm going to get out of your way and turn it over to you. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
You bet. That's you.
I hope you can. Part of the reason why I chose this book, Last Stop on Market Street, the words were written by Matt de la Peña, pictures by, or sometimes we say illustrated, by Christian Robinson, and published by Putnam Sons. And one of the reasons why I chose this book is because it's a story about a grandma and her grandson taking a ride on a bus. And he calls his grandma Nana. And that's what I called my grandma. And we all have different words that we use for grandma and different names, abuela, grandma, Grammy, Nana. So let's see what they did on their adventure. Last Stop on Market Street. This book was written for Luna and her two grandmas, Rory and Grace, for Nana. Lots of colors in these illustrations. Oops, I think I skipped a page. Let me start right over here. CJ pushed through the church doors, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus in all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" I wonder what she meant by the straw. CJ looked for a long time, but never saw a straw. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. Nana, how come we don't got a car? Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire, and old Mr. Dennis, who always has a trick for you. The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the doors swung open. If you've ever ridden on a bus, they make noises. What's that I see? Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear, placed it in his palm. Nana laughed, a deep laugh, and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. Want to start this? She made sure TJ did the same. The bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. How come we always got to go here after church, CJ said. Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere. I feel sorry for those boys, she told him. They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the sunglass man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat. CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side and watched a group of boys hop curbs on bikes. A man climbed aboard with the spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. How come that man can't see? Boy, what do you know about seeing? Nana told him. Some people watch the world with their ears. That's a fact. Their noses too, the man said, sniffing at the air. That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am. Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. I want to make sure I get all the pages. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in back. Sure wish I had one of those, he said. Nana set down her knitting. What for? You got the real live thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play a song? CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered, I'd like to close my eyes. I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers too. So CJ closed his and the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full, and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. Does music ever do that to you? The song ended, and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows and boarded up stores. He reached for his Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty here? She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. CJ saw a perfect rainbow arching over the soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful wherever he never thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. Some of these pages stick together. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, I'm glad he came. Some of these folks were on the bus. He thought his Nana might laugh, her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, me too, CJ. Now come on. Do you see Nana and CJ? And now they wait for the bus to go home. I hope you enjoyed that book. I enjoyed adventures with my Nana when I was young and learning about different people. They have stuffed animals in front of me so that I can pretend that I'm talking to you right in your TV room. And I'm so glad because it reminds me of when I was little, I would line up my stuffed animals and teach them lessons. So maybe you can repeat some of the lessons you learned to some of your toys. Have a wonderful day.
Good morning, kindergarten and first graders. I'm so happy to see you again today. And today we are mathematicians and scientists. We can look forward to a really awesome graphing math lesson with myself, and then right after me with Mrs. Q. And then after that, we're going to do science with Mrs. B, where we're going to learn about light. And she has some pretty cool things planned for you today. So to prepare for today's lesson, you're going to need a couple of things, and I'm going to give you a moment to collect them. But you're going to want a couple pieces of paper and something to write with. It can be a pencil or a marker. Usually when I do math, I prefer pencil, but you can use whatever you have available to you. So go ahead and grab that. And while you grab that, let's practice counting by our fives. We're going to start at 0. Are you ready? 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Well done. All right, friends, so like we start every day with Ms. Kathy, we're going to have to look at a collection of items, and we are going to estimate, we are going to guess how many items are inside. So I asked my friends, Mrs. B and Mrs. Q, what their guesses were already. I'm going to let you take a look for a moment, and you'll see that they're little counters that came from my classroom, and they're inside this glass bowl, and I'll turn this around so you can get a really good view. All right. So hold that number in your brain of how many you think are in there. And I'm going to show you my chart that I made with my guess and the guesses of my friends. So I put a title at the top of my chart today, and it says, Our Guesses. And my friend Mrs. Q said she thinks that there are 18 animals in there. My friend Mrs. B says she thinks that there are 15 of these in here. And I said 12. And I left a spot here for student. That's you. How many do you think are in here? Go ahead and write your guess down, and then we're going to find out. Okay, friends. So I decided to find something to help me count today. I found my 2 10 frames that Mrs. B helped me make out of envelopes. And I'm going to use these to help me count, because when I fill up one 10 frame, I can say, that's 10. And then I have my other one, and I can say, that's 20. I think that's a really cool tool to help me learn. So I'm going to go ahead and grab them out, and I'm going to place them on my 10 frame. And if you've made a 10 frame with Mrs. B, you can use that as well when you're counting items, which is pretty exciting. So I almost have one full. Okay, so friends, I have one 10 frame full of these colorful rainbow animals. I'm going to fill one more. Another way you could do this is pulling them out 2 at a time and counting by 2s. That's what we usually do, right, friends? Okay. I have 2 full 10 frames, and I have 2 left over. So let's see if we can figure that out. 10, 20, 21, 22. So my friends guessed 18, 15, and I guessed 12. But in real life, there were 22. Do you think we were pretty close this time? Who was the closest? And who was the farthest away? Well, Mrs. Q was the closest with 18 guessed. And then I guessed 12, which was very far off. Maybe you guessed something much closer. Friends, normally we just have our chart and we say, this is how we're going to do our collection of items, and this is our guess for the day. But I wanted to introduce you to a new tool that you can use to show how many items are in a collection. So if you play this game at home with a sibling or a grown-up, and you have a collection of items, which could be anything, it could be a bucket of crayons, for example, you could, afterwards, after you make your chart, you could also graph it. And so let's take a look at what that might look like. And remember, we said that there were 22 altogether. I'm going to write that on my paper, and I'm going to circle it, because that's an important number. 22 altogether. Okay, so I created a chart before we met today. Well, this is a graph, and our graph is over here. And I'm going to show you a couple of important things about my graph. The first thing, just like my chart has a title at the top, my graph needs a title at the top. And on here I said our guesses. But another word for guess would be estimate. And so I'm going to make the title of my chart, Our Estimates. Because these are our estimates for how many items we thought were going to be in the collection today. And then I had my friends guess how many items were in here. Mrs. Q said 18. Well, I put a Q down here for Mrs. Q. And I'm going to make a bar graph all the way up to the number 18 to show that's what she guessed. So what I would do is I would have to make numbers that are equal distance apart on my axis. That means this line going right here. So I'm going to make a line all the way up to 18 to show that's what she guessed. And then I like to put the number at the very top, just so it's very clear what that guess was. She guessed 18. And then I put a B here for Mrs. B. Do you guys remember what she said? That's right, 15. So I would come up here and I would go all the way up to 15. And I would write my number at the top. And I said 12, which was the smallest number. So for K for Miss Kathy, I'm going to go all the way over here to 12. And I left a spot for you, so you could fill this in on a piece of paper yourself. What did you guess? What number did you go up to? And then I put here real. What was it really? Because that's what we found out when we counted them. And we found out that there were 22, which is almost to the top of the graph. So I'm going to go up, 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 up. Keep going, Miss Kathy. All the way up to 22. That's a high number. And then I'm going to label it, 22. And that was the real one. And I really like this visual representation because it shows me who got the closest to the number 22. And graphs can help us see numbers in new ways. So now I know that Mrs. Q had the closest at 18, I was the farthest away at 12, and Mrs. B was in the middle. But what about you? How close did you get to our real number? So when you're playing this game at home, and you're playing with a sibling or a grown-up, and you make your chart, I want you to challenge yourself. Get a piece of paper and make a graph also for your estimates. Playing the collection game is fun because you can play it with anything around you. I think next time I might find some really cool rocks, because rocks are another great collection you can use to make sure that you're learning to count by 2s and 5s, but then also practicing some really important math skills, such as creating charts and graphs. Up next, friends, you have Mrs. Q, and she's going to do some more graphing with you. See you soon, friends.
Good morning and welcome back, kindergarten and first grade, for our read aloud today. Today I chose the book called The Legend of Rock, Paper, Scissors. The author of this story is Drew DeWalt. He's also the author of the book The Day the Crayons Quit. Have you ever read that story? This is one of my favorite authors. The pictures are by Adam Rex. Rock, Paper, Scissors. Long ago, in an ancient and distant realm called the Kingdom of the Backyard, there lived a warrior named Rock. Rock was the strongest in all the land, but he was sad because no one would give him a worthy challenge. Rock traveled to the mysterious forest of over by the tire swing, where he met a warrior who hung on a rope holding a giant's underwear. What? Oh my gosh, here it is. Drop that underwear and battle me, you ridiculous wooden clip man. I will pinch you and make you cry, Rock Warrior. I love the faces on these objects. Rock versus clothespin. And Rock is victorious. You can see the Rock. He has his warrior face on and he smashes the clothespin. Even though he had won, Rock was still unsatisfied. So he journeyed on to the mystical tower of Grandma's favorite apricot tree, where he was met by an odd and delicious fruit. There's apricot. You, sir, look like a fuzzy little fruit. What? I challenge you to a duel. Then let's battle. Rock versus apricot. I will beat you, Rock, with my tart and tangy sweetness. Rock is victorious. Ugh, I'm smushed. And yet, smushing you has brought me no joy. Are you not entertained? They were entertained. But the battle had left too easy. So Rock left the kingdom of Backyard, still on search for a worthy opponent. I wonder who Rock could battle that would make Rock feel like he did a good job. His face does not look very amused. Meanwhile, in the empire of Mom's home office, a lonely and windswept desk mountain, a second great warrior sought glory of battle, and his name was Paper. Even though he was the smartest warrior in the land, he was also sad because no one could outwit him. He set out across Desk Mountain to find his match. There he met a large and square monster. What do you think that is? On a desk. I gobble up the likes of you and spit them out every day, little Paper. Oh, then taste my furry box monster. Paper versus computer printer. No, not a paper jam. And Paper was victorious. So the Paper went into the printer, jammed him up, and won the battle. Having beaten the fiercest fighter on Desk Mountain, Paper climbed to the pit of the office trash, where he battled the most terrifying creature in the land, the half-eaten bag of trail mix. Paper thinks he's going to beat the snack in the trash can. I don't know about that. Paper versus half-eaten bag of trail mix. Ah, he's out in the sun. Run for your lives! They look a little scared of the paper. And Paper wins again. Can anyone beat me? Paper thought. And so, with a heavy heart, Paper left the empire of Mom's home office. At the same time, in the kitchen realm, in the tiny village of Junk Drawer, there lived a third great warrior. They called her Scissors. And she was the fastest blade in all the land. She, too, was unchallenged. On this day, her first opponent was a strange and sticky circle man. Let us do battle, you tacky round monster. Tacky, because tape is sticky. I will battle you, and I will leave you beaten and confused with all of your powers, said Scissors. Scissors versus tape. And Scissors was victorious. Scissors forged on across the kitchen realm to the refrigerator freezer, where she met her most fearsome yet. Dinosaurs made of frozen chicken. These are dinosaur chicken nuggets. Oh my gosh, Scissors is battling chicken nuggets. You have come from far reaches of kitchen to battle you. I am a yummy breaded dinosaur. Bow before our child-pleasing shapes, and we will crunch you. Scissors versus dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. Dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets win? No, they didn't. Scissors was victorious again. And you can see the scissors chopping the chicken nuggets. I am Scissor that not even dinosaur chicken nuggets can beat. And so Scissors, like rock and paper before her, traveled to her own kingdom, seeking out a challenger to be equal. Then one day, in the great two-car garage, Rock and Scissors came to a face-off. I hope you're wearing your battle pants, Rock Warrior. If by battle pants you mean no pants, I'm willing to fight you, then yes. Yes, I'm wearing my battle pants, Weird Scissor. I just love the faces on these objects. They look like they're fierce warriors. Rock versus Scissors. Do you know who wins? An epic and legendary battle ensued, but ultimately, Rock was victorious. You have beaten me, so happy by beating me. I wish I felt your joy, Scissors, for I have yet to meet a warrior who can beat me. So Rock beat Scissors because he could smash the scissors. Hi there. Those are fighting words. What? Said Paper. Rock versus Paper. Do you know who wins this battle? This is my best day of my life. Thank you for winning, great paperweight. That's fine for you, but it looks as though no one will ever beat me. So the paper just held down the rock and he was stuck. Not so fast, Paper, said the scissors. What? Said the paper. scissors versus paper, you beat me, said the paper, because the scissor was able to just clip, cut the paper. And the three great warriors hugged each other and danced for joy, and they became fast friends. Finally, they each had their moment of matches. They were so happy, in fact, that they began to battle again. Round and round they battled in the most massive and epic three-way battle of all times. And this is said that the joyous struggle still rages on today. And that's why children around the world, in backyards, on playgrounds, and yes, even in classrooms, still honor the three great warriors by playing rock, paper, scissors. Here they are, rock, paper, and scissors. Have you ever played rock, paper, scissors with friends at your school? I really think that this is a fun game. And I'm going to bring my friend up, Miss Kathy. We're going to show you how to play rock, paper, scissors and how to graph our results. This could be very epic. I hope you're ready. So we both have our markers because we're going to be ready to mark on our bar graph back here. To how to play this game, Miss Kathy. Ready? It's rock. You have to put your hand out because you have to be able to hit the rock on something. So it's rock, paper, scissors. Okay? Do we remember who wins each round? We're going to play 5 times. Yeah? And then we'll mark it up on our chart. So, are you ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. And I like to say rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And then you show me your answer, and I'll show you my answer at the same time. No cheating.
Okay.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Who won? Scissors or paper? Scissors won. I'm going to mark it on my chart. Ready for another battle? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, it's a tie. Paper and paper. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh my gosh. 3 ties in a row. We should be graphing our ties. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. My rock smashes those scissors. So I'm going to mark it over here on my graph. I wonder who will win the most. Paper's not winning so far. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh my gosh. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock wins again. So far, rock is in the lead. All right. Ready? You can do this, Miss Kathy. I believe in you. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. This rock is winning all of these battles. I hope paper can get in there. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, scissors beats paper. We've played 5 times, and you can see on our graph that we got 2 for scissors, 0 for paper, and 3 for rocks. Which one has more? I think rock is the winner of this epic rock-paper battle. Do you think this is a game you could play at home with your family? Make a simple graph, find some grown-ups or some siblings. Maybe even you could play against yourself, but that would be tricky. See if you can have a rock, paper, scissors battle at your house and graph all of your results. I hope you enjoyed our fun story today and a fun game. Thanks to Ms. Kathy for playing along. And we hope to see you again tomorrow for some more lessons. Up next is Miss B with some fun science. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm Mrs. B. Welcome, kinder and first grade. we're going to talk about science. When it's completely dark, can you see? I need a little bit of light to see. Do you think we need light to see? Well, let's use our 5 senses to see how we feel light. Spell light with me. Ready? Say it after me. L, I, G, H, T, light. So with our 5 senses, remember, we need these in science all the time to make sense of the world around us. Let's see what we need for light. Can you taste light? No. Can you smell light? No. Can we hear light? No. This one could be a little tricky. Can you touch light? We can't touch light. We can feel other types of energy, like heat when something feels hot, if we touch maybe a hot lamp, but we're actually not touching light. We can see light, and that's the sense we're going to use today. We're going to focus on how we see it. So before we start looking at some things and shining some light on them, I want you to think about maybe making some predictions. When we predict, we're saying what we think is going to happen in the future. So as I show you different objects, I'm going to ask you to make some predictions to predict what you think will happen when we shine a light on them. So let's look at what I brought today. I brought a blank index card. Let me use my senses to describe it to you. It's dry, it's smooth. Remember, if I go back and forth, I can make sounds, vibrate the paper. I took a box that had cookies and I opened it up, and now I have some cardboard. It feels smooth, a little bumpy where the folds are. It's smoother on the side with the pictures on it. Maybe you have some of these things around where you are. Do you know what this is? Aluminum foil. One side is shinier than the other side. Can you see the difference? This side is not as shiny as this side. Do you hear it? Sounds different from paper. It feels smooth. It also has some folds in it. It feels a little bit heavier than this index card. I have wax paper. You may or may not have wax paper at your house, but I like to cook and bake a lot, so I have some of this in my kitchen. This sounds different from the foil and different from the paper. This feels very smooth. Feels waxy, like a crayon or a candle. Wax paper is usually used for cold food. Then I have this paper, parchment paper. This paper feels dry. It's smooth, but it has some texture. It's a little bit rough. It's not as smooth as the wax paper. It's not as clear as the wax paper. And this is used for hot food. I can bake things or cook things in the oven with this kind of paper. I also brought some plastic wrap. Comes in this roll. Can you hear it? It's sticky. Maybe you have some of this where you are. So it feels smooth. I can see through it. This is usually used to cover food. I also brought this that held the cookies in this box that I took apart. And it's made of plastic. Some crinkly comes to my mind, a little squishy. It's smooth on some parts. It has some bumps on other parts. Can sort of see through it. I brought this glass jar. It's smooth on some parts. It's bumpy on the parts where I could put a lid on it. There's some writing on here, and that part feels bumpy too. It's heavier compared to all of the other objects I've shown you so far. I can see through it. And I also brought, if I can open it, this mirror. And it feels smooth. I'm going to have to clean it. I smudged it. One mirror is magnified, meaning when I look in it, my eyes look really big. And on the other side, when I look in it, I look more like myself. I brought this mirror. How would you describe this? Shiny. And then I have this small camping flashlight. So I could use it this way, or I could use it this way. So let's make some predictions before we test. I am going to shine my light through this glass jar. What do you think is going to happen? Let me give you some choices, okay? The light could go through. The light could not go through. It could be blocked. Or the light could bounce back or reflect. What do you predict will happen when I shine a light on the glass jar? Let's practice our questions too. What questions do you have so far about what I've shown you or what you know already about light? Let me give you some question starters. Can you tell me a question that starts with what if about light or about any of the objects I've shown you so far? How about a question that starts with when? What about a question that starts with why? How about a what question? A how question? Okay, let's see. Locking your prediction. I'm going to shine a light on this glass jar and let's see what we see. Can you see anything this way? What if I point it towards you? Is it shining through? Is that what you predicted? Were you right? Okay, this one, we can see light passing through it. How about this plastic container? Can you see the light shining through? Is it somewhere in between shining through and not shining completely through? What about this index card? What do you predict? Do you predict the light will shine through, not shine through, or will be reflected? Can you see the light shining through? You can tell there's light. Is it going completely through? What about if I shine it this way? Is it shiny? How about this plastic wrap? What do you predict will happen when I shine the light? Is it going completely through? Is that what you said would happen? What about when I shine it this way? Is it bouncing off? Is it still going through? Is it being blocked? What do you see? How about wax paper? Remember, wax paper is smooth, it's waxy. Let's see, what do you predict? Will you be able to see the light shining through, Will it be blocked or will it be reflected or bounce off? Ready? What do you see? Somewhere in between, maybe? What if I shine it on this side? How about aluminum foil? Aluminum foil is very thinly rolled out metal. It's good to cook with in the oven. Okay, what do you predict will happen when I shine a light on it? Ready? Can you see the light? What happens when I shine it on the side that's not so shiny? It has two sides. One is shinier than the other. So look at this side, compare it to this side. Can you see the difference? Okay, I'm going to shine it on the side that's not so shiny. What do you see? What about on the shiny side? Is the light reflecting, bouncing off this side? I'm not sure I can see it in this room, bouncing off. What about a mirror? My light's not the greatest, my mirror's not the greatest. If I had better tools, maybe we could see this better. But let me see if I can you, let's see. Can you see the light in this room being reflected on the cardboard? It's kind of hard to see, but let me try. If I can get it just right, maybe you can shine a light with a mirror and it'll reflect. I see it on the table. It's kind of hard to see. What about cardboard? What do you predict will happen? Ready? Can you see the light shining? I don't see anything at all. This definitely blocks light. What about our parchment paper? So parchment paper is not as smooth as wax paper, used for baking, has a little bit of texture. It's a little rough. It's not smooth. So what do you predict is going to happen when I shine a light on this? Can you see the light? Maybe not as clearly as the glass or as the plastic wrap, but we can sort of see some light coming through. Were you right about your predictions? Do you have other questions that came up? I know I have questions that came up for me. So let me share with you some of my questions. A what if question. What if we used a different color of light? What if I had a blue light, a red light, a green light? Would I still see the same things that I saw when I shined light on the different objects? When? When do some objects have light pass through and some don't? So what I'm thinking of is this parchment paper. When would the light shine through? If the parchment paper was... Why? Why does the light pass through some objects, bounce off others, and then pass through? And by bounce off, I mean reflect. What? What other objects are around you that you could shine a light on? How can you shine a light on objects if you don't have a flashlight? Maybe you have a lamp. Maybe you use the sunlight. How can you shine light on objects without using a flashlight? So I drew some pictures to help us understand what's happening. So here's a picture showing light, and I used light to be represented with arrows. So sometimes in science, we use pictures and symbols to explain what's happening. So if this is light, these arrows pointing at this straight line, I'm saying this straight line represents whatever I'm holding up. So it would be like this. The light could pass through, get blocked, or reflect, bounce off. And here's my paper. And so if it is shining through, then I showed my arrows pointing at the object and then passing through. The light could also not pass through. It could be blocked. So I'm showing arrows going towards my object, and then it's not passing through. I also showed when light reflects or bounces off, like with a mirror or with the aluminum foil. So look around you and find one thing that you can see light passing through. Tell me what it is. Find one thing around you that light is not passing through. What's that? Can you find something where you are, where light is reflecting, bouncing off? It's not passing through. It's not going through at all. Or it's passing through. Let me say that again. The light's not passing through, so it's like this. Or it's going through. That's not happening either. Instead, it's like a mirror, like a shiny metal. Is there something around you like that? Do you have more questions that have come up? So I challenge you to draw a picture of what happens when different things have light shining on them. And I drew an example here. And so here I am in my house. That's me. And here's a window that I see. And I notice that during the day, I can see the sunlight coming through my window. And so I used these arrow symbols, just like with the pictures here, to show that light was coming through the window. So I challenge you to draw a picture, and maybe you can draw a picture of each kind of object. The kind that light passes through, the kind that light doesn't pass through, and the kind that reflects light. So let's practice drawing some arrows before we go, okay? So this is my right, and let's practice drawing an arrow to my right. Ready? I'm going to get my pointer here. And we're going to draw a giant arrow in the air. So I'm going to go to the right, my right, and right at that point, I'm going to draw a slant line and another slant line. Okay, let's do that again. We're going to go to my right. Ready? Line across, slant line this way, slant line that way. Let's draw another arrow in the air to my left. We're going to go this way. Ready? Draw with me. We're going to go across, and we're going to draw a slant line at the end and another slant line at the end. Okay, this time let's go up. Let's draw an arrow in the air facing up, going up. Ready? Down, up, slant line, slant line. Okay, this time let's draw an arrow in the air going down. Ready? Top, down, slant line, slant line. So practice using arrows in your drawings to show direction, like right, left, up, or down. And you can also use it in your drawings about science to explain what's happening and to use it as a symbol to represent something. In my example here, I'm using my arrows to represent light and the direction that it's going through the window. So I hope you can find some things around you and be creative. Open up a box of cookies or candy. What's in the kitchen? Ask a grown-up first. You want to make sure that it's okay to explore and investigate these things. So I hope you enjoyed our time together, and I hope you enjoyed The Legend of Rock, Paper, Scissors that Miss Q read. And I hope you enjoyed the different types of charts and graphs that you can make at home. Notice the one that Miss Q made used X's to mark each of the things that happened. And look at the one that Miss Kathy made. She drew rectangles to show how many of something happened also, or how many things there were in the jar. So I'm so glad you joined us today, and until next time, I hope you have a great day.